This is Beyond the 65, brought to you by talkSPORT Ireland.
Lads, back for episode 2, Bubbles, and we've only lost to one person.
Back for episode 2. I think the feedback wasn't too great from Conor's side, so he's actually been downgraded to remotely to see can he get back up to the office.
Yeah, Conor's joined us remotely, joined us virtually, but it's a fitness test today, Conor, is it?
That's it, yeah. That's it. I'm in the sunny southeast, so I'm gonna have to leave it till the next episode, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll see if the crowd want him back, Bubbles, will we?
Yeah. I'm not so sure now. I made a commitment to come up. I made a commitment to come up over 2 hours to drive up here, and you didn't bother coming up, so we'll have to wait and see.
No, Conor's got fitness test. Is that something that would you have had much of them over the years?
Would didn't pass too many of them, but Conor. I suppose Conor is probably trying to come back from injury and stuff, but like testing during the season is fairly popular. Do you know, you probably do a fitness test maybe every 4 weeks, so it's something that you have to put up with. I suppose the most popular one that we had was probably the 1.2 test. 1,200 meter runs, so you're turning in it as well. But not nice. But I suppose they're only 4.5 minutes of torture, and then it's over, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, Conor, I don't think you've actually got to the centre of excellence yet. What are you expecting today? You expecting a bit of a grueling 1.2 like Bubbles was saying?
No, the 1.2 generally, the Bubbles talking about, is kind of, the start of your year, and then you're looking at, maybe midway through the league or something along those lines to try to see where you're at. But I hope not. that's the answer to that. But anyway, the funny thing about the 1.2, I think it was a generic thing that most teams were doing. You could come back in really good shape with a pre-season, or you might have went on that a little bit longer with your club. But somehow it's always the hardest thing in the world to do. No matter what, you could be in the best shape or in the worst shape you've been in, and it's never going to get any better. I know we touched on a lot of it in the last episode, but yeah, it's definitely, look at if you're doing fitness tests, it means you're checking because you probably are not fit or you're only coming back, as Bubbles was saying. So we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, there was definitely stages where you're holding your breath over the career for even teammates coming back before finals and stuff, was there?
Yeah, one of the lads, I remember he came back to us. Now I won't name names because he's actually still involved, but he came back and he's under 1.2, and I think he got nearly touching 6 minutes. And you'll probably be targeting, if you're doing 12 100 metre runs, you're probably targeting under 4:30. So he's about a minute and a half off. So if he listens to this, he's still part of the tip panel. He'll know exactly who he is. But I think
still running that them times.
I think 4 weeks later, then he was well under the 4:30. So the amount of work that he put in the 4 weeks. But it's absolutely grueling, the 1.2. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't fancy that. Lads, I think we touched a bit on the big days last time, and it was something that we did tee up for this episode as well. Bubbles, when I say a big day out, what's the first one you remember as being like, Jesus, this is a big one for the career?
I suppose you're probably looking at the All-Ireland straight away, but I would say, and I would say 2012 Munster Under-21 final for me probably was probably one of the biggest. We played Clare down in Clare, Munster final. They were red hot favourites. They had Tony Kelly, Colm Galvin, Conor Ryan, all these fellas, and we only had one on the senior panel. And we were leading up to maybe 2 minutes to go. Thought we had the game not sewn up, but we were winning. And they scored a last minute goal and they ended up winning by 2 points. So that was a massive game. Like, went on to play in bigger games then with All Irelands, with seniors and stuff like that. But at the time, and looking back now, it still would rank up there as probably the biggest game of my career.
How about you, Conor? When was the first time you were like, geez, this is a big one, this is, reaching the top here?
Under 21 was the first taste. So really, we played in 2 All-Ireland or 21s, one year after the other, and we came up against 2 unbelievable teams. But I remember going out to Thurles for those 2 Saturday night games. They used to be on the Saturday night, and we played Clare, who were going for 3 in a row. It was Tony Kelly, Colm Galvin. They won their 3 in a row that year, and we were in the game up until the last, say 10 minutes or so. We got a kind of run of goals and stuff like that, so it was looking like we were going to pip them, and well, certainly we thought that anyway. But then the following year we came up against I think probably 13 minimum of that Limerick team that have won All Irelands. We're playing today the following year. So yeah, we came up against unfortunate opposition in 2 All Irelands, but that was probably the first taste of it, I would say. Then 2017 was kind of a continuation on from a lot of those 21s into our first kind of senior Leinster final. I think it was a record at the time for a Leinster final attendance. So that was the first taste of it. But yeah, special days. All right, 3 losses, mind.
The under 21 back then was straight knockout. Like the under 20 competition now is you have a round robin system, I suppose. But back then it was one game, lose one game and they're gone.
No back door, no
back door.
Oh,
Jesus.
So like in 2010 we won the All Ireland. We beat Galway in the final. 2011 then we had a poor year. I think Cork beat us in the first round. So like you're training from November to get beat in the first round of the Munster under 21 championship, like, and you're gone. And then the year after, then Clare beat us. That team that Conor was on about then, Tony Killen, that was the start of their 3 in a row. Them teams like the Conor played in year 3 of it, like so. But like it was cutthroat, and that's probably why it was, for me back then, it was the best competition you could play in, because it was like everything was put into it, like, and that's why the games probably felt that bit more important, because there was no second chance.
You both mentioned some big names there, like some big Limerick players that you would have come up against. Conor, the Clare lads there as well, Bubbles. Was there ever players though at, let's say, minor or 21 level who looked the real deal and looked like, you know, they could take on the world, but never really progressed?
Oh jeez, that's a hard question.
Jesus, Luke.
Too early for it, is it? I don't
want
want names. I don't need names. But like, is there anyone that you're like, geez, whatever happened to him? He was a nightmare to play against in his day.
I tell you, with 2012 we played in a Leinster minor final. I think Galway actually went to town on Kilkenny in the senior final that day. 2012, would that be right?
Yeah.
But anyway, we had played in that, and we played Dublin. They were a fair, strong, big, strong, athletic team. And there was a good few lads in that. But Cormac Costello was on that team. Obviously he went to go play football, but he was class act. Like, he was probably, you know, like, he was head and shoulders above any forward that they had at that time. And he was just running the show. He was wing forward. He was everywhere, really. But he's one that kind of stands out, where we were happy, you know, going into the senior when he was getting called in. There was whispers at the time that, geez, this lad's, how is he going to go into a football panel when he's so gifted at hurling? But yeah, he was definitely someone that, you know, just springs to mind straight away, that he was gifted, and obviously he's a gifted footballer as well.
I think Kieran Kilkenny was the same, wasn't he? Kieran Kilkenny was on that team as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he would have been on it the year before. Yeah, so the two of them were the 2 wing forwards one year, and then Costello was a year younger. So yeah, we were delighted from a senior point of view that the two of the boys went and played football.
Yeah,
that's a hard question. I don't really want to throw anyone under the bus, but like, we came up against, like, under Cork teams like that would have been very good. Like Aidan Walsh, I suppose, probably another one like that went and played football instead of hurling. Like, I remember playing him in a minor final in 2008 down in Limerick. The senior final was Tip and Clare, and he was wing back. I actually didn't start. I came on wing forward marking him, and like, I was only a small little lad, like 5'8" or 9, like, and this lad was 6'2", 6'3" already, and built the way he was. 2 years later, he played in the senior football final. You know, so like, just a pure class level man playing minor, like. But I wouldn't like to throw out any names that didn't make it at senior level. It's very hard to think of it, but yeah, it was a good few. I remember coming up against Kilkenny teams again in a All-Ireland semi-final minor. We lost by a point, I think, in the end, and like, a lot of them players went on to make it. Like, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but there was Canis Maher, I think, is one that kind of comes to mind, that I think he ran riot against us in 2008. Ended up losing, but you know, there's different reasons why people don't go on to make it at senior level. Like.
Yeah, and that dual conversation is interesting as well, because I think you obviously see less and less of it now with the demands. But Conor, you would have probably been growing up in a dual county. I don't know, would you call it a dual county anymore?
I was 2-year county minor footballer, but
were you as well? Yeah.
never done a football training session. But I was still part of the panel in the lads were hoping.
You sound like Johnny Smacks now.
No, but this is genuine. Don't mind him. But yeah, I was actually part of it, and then I kind of just said to the lads, look, I like, hurling is number one. Like, so, like, if I'm going to choose hurling over football every day of the week, and that's the way it is for 90% of players in Tipperary. But I would have been dual county minor without ever actually playing
That's
even a
brilliant.
challenge match or a training session for the footballers.
Conor, you ever playing a bit of ball with Naivana?
Yeah, I played a little bit of football. It's just too slow for my liking.
Jeez, you'd swear you were fast.
Too slow. It's too slow. I need the ball to move fast. Never mind me legs, Bubbles. So the ball and me are moving slow. Then it's not great. It's not good viewing anyway for starters. But no, sure. Growing up until minor, we would have played all up. Like, you know, we played in every underage team and stuff like that. But in terms of Wexford and going dual on that front, it was never something that kind of came into my head or anything like that. Not that I would have probably even been next to near good enough, but yeah, no, it was just like as Bubbles said, it's hurling was always number one. My biggest thing actually would have been, I mentioned the last episode, was boxing. I probably would have felt like I could have or maybe should have done that a little bit further, but you don't know how your hurling career would pan out then. Would I've played as early for Wexford? I don't know, but it's just the choices you make. I think it's just too difficult as well, and you know, time commitments and how much you can actually improve and work on your game. You know how much better are you going to be if you're going football training 2 nights out a week. So yeah,
I think it's something
there's a few lads who've done it, but yeah, it's hard to sustain anyway.
I think it's nearly completely gone out of the game now. For underage players in Tipperary, from under 14 up, like you're made to choose. Not made to choose, but like it's kind of said to you, like you can only play one here now, like, you know. And I think that's in most counties, unless you're maybe a Dublin or a Galway or a Cork.
Are the clubs choosing that? Like, is there nearly
No. We'll say at Tipperary level, like, so if under 14 tip team or under 15 or 16, like it's nearly said to you, look, pick one. Like at a club level, like we're senior hurling and we're intermediate hurling, senior football. So, but hurling's our number one game, you know. So like, and we don't train for football. Whereas it should be, by right, it should be the other way around, because we're actually senior football, but Premier Intermediate hurling, like. But hurling's our number one game, and it is for a lot of clubs in Tipperary, like that. It just, you know, can play senior football as well. We just don't. Not that we don't take it as serious, we just don't put as much effort into it as hurling.
You ever into the soccer, the other football?
Yeah, I played a bit under. I played for St. Kevin's 2 Mile Boroughs. They're only 10 minutes down the road. Wasn't too bad.
Where'd you play? What position were you?
Centre mid. There was two of them, myself and Michael Ivers from Ballingarry. I was the lad to break up lads and hit lads and just give the ball to him and he can do the damage then. And Michael Rafter from Glengool. But I would have got a couple of trials here and there over in England and stuff, but I was never good enough for that.
Now we got to expand on that there, yeah.
Here
we go. Jackpot. Here's the clip for next week.
I was never good enough for it. I was told fairly quick. I went over to try and be a centre mid, and I was told after about half an hour, look, it's either left back or nothing. And I think after that then they told me, look, you're not good enough. So
what club did you go to?
Middlesbrough.
Did you? Yeah.
So
geez, what could have been, Bubbles?
No, I actually had zero interest in it. I played soccer because it was, you know, a lot of my friends went down there to do it, and it was a bit of crack, and it wasn't really colliding with the hurling season. But like my other big sport would have been badminton. Like I played a lot of badminton when I was a young lad. I won a good few All-Irelands at badminton, so that would have been my other sport, and soccer was just thrown in there as well, and I played a good bit of rugby too. So
jeez, you dipped a toe in most of them, didn't you?
Played rugby for Cashel.
Yeah, good rugby club that.
Yeah. So played a lot of different sports, but hurling was always one, and then badminton was probably number two.
Conor, I heard through the grapevine that you had a couple of spells with Gorey Rangers.
Yeah. Couple of spells with Gorey Rangers. I probably would have been up front. Probably, you know, when you before you go to your first couple of trainings, you're like, this is not too bad, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and after a while, then you soon realise that number one, you're just up there to get your head on a ball, and the second thing is to chase after a lad like you would in a hurling match, because soccer lads don't do that. Like, they just don't do it. So the work rate that they see will be a 4 out of 10 in a hurling game, but it's seen as a 9 out of 10 in a football game or soccer game. So that's kind of how I got on the team sheet, really. But yeah, I know a couple of goals here and there keeps you going as well, keeps you going the following week. But no, I enjoy it now. I enjoy actually the atmosphere of it at club level.
What's the atmosphere? No training, is it?
Yeah. Don't go training, or, you know, if you say you're working, that's actually a viable excuse. Like, it's actually deadly. Like, you know, you can't say anything else. I'm not away with the missus there or anything like that. you're not allowed to start the weekend. But if you say you're working, like, I'm on a night shift tonight, lads. All right, no bother, bud. See you Friday. See you Sunday morning. You get on the team sheet. But anyway, if I ever go back now, I definitely won't be able to use that excuse.
Yeah, you've exposed yourself here. Yeah.
It was taken serious, was it? Yeah.
Serious out, yeah. No, in fairness, they do. And Luke, you probably know they do. Like, first, second, third team, even now at this stage in Galway Rangers, they got to the All Ireland. First team got to the All Ireland last year. They're a good club down there. But no, I do enjoy it. Like, I do. It's something nice to be out there in the off season as well. It's a bit of crack, and it's a different atmosphere. Just a different atmosphere.
My school, actually, we got to an Ireland final in soccer. When I was in second year, it was the first time soccer was introduced in the school. And then by the time I got to fifth year, we got to an Ireland final and we lost, I think, to Finglas, a school in Finglas. And then the year after, then sixth year, I was captain and we lost the Munster final to Cove. And now soccer
back to back there.
Yeah, but soccer is bigger now in the school that I went to than what hurling is.
Would it be?
Yeah, there's no effort being put into hurling in the school at all. And soccer is being pushed big time, and it's actually becoming more popular in there.
Yeah,
the younger people now. A lot of people are probably dropping out because of the commitment to hurling, like, and it's just handier to play it in school. And but hurling, soccer's after taking off from hurling in my old school.
Jeez, that's mad. Like, I never would have thought that when you think about, the players that come from there and, the teams in the past and stuff. Listen, we did say the big days. So you mentioned 21s. That was big. When was that first senior one? Do you remember walking out that first Munster final, first All-Ireland final?
Well, yeah, 2014 was the first All-Ireland final. 2013 we didn't make. I don't think we made it to a Munster final in 2013. I suppose the biggest game before the All-Ireland final would have been we played Kilkenny in 2013 down in Nolan Park in the qualifiers. Like, was I think the first time the Tip and Kilkenny played in the qualifiers, because usually, well, especially Kilkenny would go through Leinster fairly easy. I might add there, Conor. Usually, but we met in the first round of the qualifiers in Nolan Park, and like, what's Nolan Park? I think it's 25,000 people, absolutely packed into Nolan Park against Kilkenny. I think they beat us by 4 or 5 points the same day. But I remember going out there. I was only 21, and I was marking Tommy Welch, like, and it's just like, I know you're not supposed to say it or anything, like, but going out marking one of the greatest hurlers, if not the greatest hurlers of all time, and not doing too bad either. I think I scored 3 points from play off him, so I was happy enough. we might have lost, but I was happy enough coming away out of it. But that was before the 2014 All-Ireland against Kilkenny again, like 2013, that game. Like, I remember before the game, I think we were out. What's the hotel out? The Lyrat Hotel. We were out there before the game, but after the match, we were in the Pembroke Hotel, which is right smack in the middle of the city. Like, we were after losing to Kilkenny, and how the county board thought it was a good idea to bring us into the middle of the city for something to eat. Like, win or lose, like, you're going to be abused no matter what.
You get an awful time, yeah.
It's like, we got off the bus, like, and there was a big bar just straight across the road. It was a big, I think the name of it was the Big Blue Bar, and like, we got off the bus, and the abuse that we're getting, like, we literally said, like, we don't need the food here, lads. Like, we're got out of championship, like, our year's over. Let's just get out of here, like.
Can you give it back when you're getting off the bus? Can you?
Oh, Jesus,
did you give it back? No,
not a hope. Not only would you get give out to by the county board delegates or anything like that, but like, supporters don't feed off that. Like, you'd only laugh at it or whatever. But like, that was a massive game for Tipperary. Now, we lost, but I suppose the year after then we came back then and got to the All-Ireland final, lost again. But
should you have lost?
Look, I'll take the blame for that one. But no, the 2013 game down in Nolan Park was absolutely huge. I think for both counties, like, and because never seen before, like, Tip going down to play a senior championship game in Nolan Park, like, and it hasn't been done since, I suppose. There's league games and all that, but it's not a patch on championship.
Conor, do you know the way Bubbles said there about going out and being marked by Tommy Walsh? Was there times when you were younger and, that first big game and you were up against a big name like that as well? Do you remember that?
Yeah, so in 2014 I played, 2013 I hadn't played league. We were still, I don't know, sort of obviously hurling minor and then just came in for the senior. And then 2014 was the first league set, and we'd hurled college games and stuff like that, and we hurled a league quarter final in Wexford Park. I I was named to start full forward anyway, and sure, who was full back? Only JJ Delaney, and sure, I probably had been going to All Ireland's 10 years previous looking at him. So that was just a mad one, really. But you as Bubbles was kind of building Tommy Walsh up there to be the greatest of all time, and then he's able to nip in and say he scored 3 points in playoff. And I got a goal that day, I think. But
Yeah, but that was hand passed out to you, Conor. That was hand passed out to you.
Yeah, I think actually off my knee or something. I'm joking. Anyway, I take it. But anyway, no, you have to. You just have to kind of put that to the back of your head. You don't really think about it that often, or the week of a game or anything like that. It's always kind of only now probably you think about, geez, yeah, that was crazy. Michael Fennelly, these lads. Henry Shefflin came on. There was bigger roar for that than there was, for most other things in that game. He was probably coming to the end at that time. So, yeah, that was really the standout one for me. Like, so early in the career, like.
Can the occasion ever get the better of you? Do you ever remember a day where, like, I feel like if I was walking out like at a Croker or a Semple Stadium or a Nolan Park, that it could get like the jitters in the legs? Did it ever happen? Do you ever feel a game passed you by?
Well, I don't think it was because of whenever people play bad in a big game, it's always said, oh, they were nervous or they let the occasion get to them. Like, I never saw it as the occasion. I used to love the bigger occasion, but then there's just sometimes to just have a bad game, and for me, I never put it down to the occasion or the game or whatever it was. I remember in 2014, before the first All Ireland, myself and Cathal were in a huddle in the small Leinster turf area before we go out into the pitch, and myself and Cathal Barrett were on opposite sides of the huddle. The two of us just looking at each other, just laughing and smiling. Like, we were only young lads, like, and we went out and people said, oh, don't look into the crowd when they're doing the parade. So I was going around looking to see who was there, could I spot anyone, and this sort of stuff. Like, but I used to find that was just like sometimes players can get the better of you, and it's not because of the occasion. It's just that player is on top of you for that day, like, and that's all you can do. I never really. I actually found the bigger the occasion, the better that I probably would have played, and it's just from the kind of character I am, kind of, just throw off the shackles, just play with a bit of freedom. That's what we would have been always been told, especially from Eamon O'Shea, just go out and play with a bit of freedom, like, don't have any pressure on your shoulders, and that's the way we usually play. But then you don't always have a good game, which is the other side of it, and a lot of people from the outside will probably look in and say, oh, he let the occasion get to him, whereas it's just, no, the lad that you were marking was just better on the day, and that's the way it is. Like, it never would have been the occasion for me.
Conor, were you the same or different?
Yeah, I used to love like the bigger days. I just rather big crowds, lots of noise and the whole lot. Again, as Bubble said, that doesn't mean you're going to play well all the time, but you can. The way I see it is, you spend your whole life, 10, 11 years of age hitting the ball up against the wall. You're not, pretending that you're scoring 1-2 in a second round of a league. You're pretending that you're putting balls in the back of the net in an All-Ireland final to win it for your county and stuff like that. So when you get into those situations, you have to relish them. Whether it's the likes of a parade, or remember the first county final our club were in, for example, like, remember just saying to the boys, like, geez, like, just, this may never happen again. It had never happened. It was our first county final as a club, and just embrace absolutely everything. It is a different game, and I hate when people say as well that, oh, it's just another game. It's not. Like, it can't be. I don't care what anyone says. If if you're going to a Walsh Cup game with 200 people playing Kilkenny, and then you go down to Nolan Park or you go to Wexford Park and there's 19,000 in a big game, or a game where someone needs to win to qualify or something like that, or a Leinster final, like, of course it's different, like, but it's how you let that affect you. And maybe some players do get a little bit more nervous or whatever, but I generally try to just embrace it. Does that mean you're going to go as well as you would have went in that Walsh Cup game? No, but it doesn't mean that's what's affected you. But yeah, like, I wouldn't say it ever got the better of me. I'd say, just as Bubble said, it's on the day, how you get on, how players get on marking you or stuff like that.
What's your favourite memory from the career? Would it be 2019 Leinster?
Yeah, probably for Wexford it would be. I think the big thing for me would have been coming home to Gorey. I grew up, it's the most north town in Wexford before Dublin, and when I was younger, like, there was no bypass and stuff like that, so Wexford teams in the past would have went back through Gorey, and I remember actually I had to do a drugs test afterwards.
Oh, Jesus.
And Davey was saying, listen, we need to go, like we need to get the train. So we got the train up, and I was like, geez, what's going on? And we left here. I went home with Liam Spratt, who was the radio presenter at Wexford. I was like, Liam, just get in the hard shoulder. I have to meet the boys. And I was ringing Davey, and I was making sure. And then there was lads in our club got wind that we were getting the train, so we would have just went straight to Arklow down to Wexford town. So they were all ringing Davey then, say like, yeah, gonna have to come through. And it was my friends were ringing, sending videos and pictures and the whole lot of Gorey, and there was probably 40,000 people there. It was crazy. It took us 2.5 hours, I think, to get up the main street of Gorey. Luke, you know, Gorey's like, it's not that big a main street, like. So yeah, like that was probably the biggest memory, or my favourite memory, say. But I'd say then my fondest memory in my whole career was probably the county final. That time, that was my fondest memory. But in purple and gold, definitely 19. Yeah.
Club wins hit more, do they?
Club wins do hit more. Yeah, I've never won a county for my club. So I don't know that feeling that Conor is going through now. I've lost 3 county finals, 2 hurling and 1 football. So like you're saying that winning for your club hits more, but like losing a county final hits a lot worse than an All Ireland loss. Like I've lost All Irelands and I've lost county finals, and the county finals are a lot worse than All Ireland's, like 100%.
Where's that come from? Is it just that, lifelong?
Like you're I suppose you're bred into your club, like, and that's where you learn everything, and that's where you give everything, and then if you turn out to be good enough, then that's where you go and play for your county. Now, like a lot of people would say, like county is the number one, like, but like your bread and butter is your club, and that's like everyone says it, like you'll start with your club, you'll finish with your club, and what, like your county might be there for 2 years, might be there for 12 years, might be there for 20 years, you don't know, but like no matter what, like your club is always number one. And like I would have been trained by my uncle, my brother, I would have been trained by family members and stuff. Like you go to county, then you're meeting people from all over the place, but they're all the same. Like it's all family members and schoolmates and all that you're growing up with and playing with. Like, and that it just means a lot more than the county. Like, not saying that losing for your county is easy either, like, or winning for it isn't good, but it obviously is. But like when it's your club, it hits a lot different.
And then in terms of then on the other side of it, where Conor saying for Wexford biggest achievement being 2019, what would be yours for tip now with that? Is there one that stands out more than the other?
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose like it's just different for me, because in 16 I got sent off in a Munster semi-final against Limerick. I was suspended for the Munster final, obviously didn't play, and then I didn't start the semi against Galway, came on, scored a vital goal, and then started the final. Like, so that would probably, like, if you're looking at a kind of a a way of coming back,
roller coaster.
A roller coaster journey, I suppose. Yeah, instead of like 2019, like I had a very good year all year through, and it just culminated then in an All Ireland victory. 2019 was probably a better victory for us as a team. Like we kind of played every game well, like even though we lost the Munster final to Limerick by, I think it was 11 points.
That much, jeez.
Yeah, we got a bad beat in the Munster final down in the Gaelic grounds, but I just think 2019 was brilliant. But 2016, just for kind of being sent off, missing a game, not starting and kind of being justified in getting that starting position, like it was unbelievable. And like, I suppose I don't think it's a thing of repaying faith in the management, which I was probably shown that I should be playing or whatever, but it's just to get over the line and actually win the All Ireland after everything that went on in 16 was probably the sweetest.
Were you sent off much? There many over the career?
For tip, only one. I've had one or two for the club, and I think maybe twice for the club, but no, not. See, if you're stupid enough to get hit and then you hit back, it's your own fault if you get sent off. So
yeah,
these things happen.
How about you, Conor? Any sly digs up in the full forward line using that
No,
Xbox?
I just received them all. No, I actually got sent off in a league game against Dublin, and it wasn't actually me. I didn't I know everyone says that, but I actually got I actually got the red card rescinded because I didn't even commit the tackle. Like, so, anyway, I got sent off in a county quarter final. That was rescinded. But yeah, no.
Brown envelope there, isn't it?
You must have fair good
Technically,
liars
no.
down in your place.
So technically, there's a big fat 0 beside my name, I think.
Yeah, a little asterisk beside that though, Conor. Yeah.
Yeah, like Ryan Giggs or Gary Lineker, is it? Never received.
Yeah, Gary Lineker.
the
Yeah.
yellow card.
Yeah. So
So
with 2019, with the two of you, Conor kind of made us pass it over the last time. It's one of my favourite matches, that Tip Wexford game. Is it for you as well? That win.
Yeah, look, it was a good win. I suppose we had a man sent off. John McGrath got sent off, but to be honest with you, and I don't mean because Conor is here, like, but I actually don't remember a whole pile about the game, really. To be honest, I remember being taken off with about 2 minutes to go and not being very happy about it, because the game was still at that stage in the mental pot, and I'm thinking if you're going to try and win a game, like I need to be on the pitch, like I'm going to get us a score or whatever. But being down to 5 forwards, we were probably getting tired, and Jake Morris came on for me, and I'm not sure. I think he scored a point, if not maybe 2, and that was probably the winning in the game. But other than that, I don't remember a whole pile. I remember before it, Sean Murphy picked me up. Conor remember this. Sean Murphy picked me up, like, and he was to play sweeper, but he came. So I was playing centre forward most of the year, but I went wing forward, and he came over marking me. But we spoke about it, that like Sean Murphy is more than likely going to pick me up, and all he's going to do is going to try and run forward all day to try and take you away from where you're dangerous. So we knew that Wexford were going to play a sweeper, so we had Paddy Maher as a sweeper. So Liam Sheedy said to me, he said, look, if Sean Murphy takes off, just leave him go, and Paddy Maher will pick him up, and then on the opposite side then, so it'll be 7v7 and 5v5 in the other side. So just leave him off, Paddy will cover it. But the one time that he did actually go, he hit me a dirty one, absolutely opened me straight into the gut, and it was sore now, and I hit the deck, like. And then by the time I got up off the ground, then he was up corner forward and Paddy Maher was picking him up. And after that, then I was switched in corner forward and someone else put out wing forward, so I wouldn't have to track him anymore.
funny enough, I think that exact time he ended up in corner forward and set me up for the first goal.
I wasn't supposed to be picking him up at that stage though.
So it's past the plane there.
But yeah, that was my kind of recollection. Even the lead up to it, like Sean Murphy, we knew that he was going to pick me up. Like, he was a very good player, but he's a very tap-minded player. Like, when it was kind of so, like, let him go up, Paddy will pick him up, or Paddy will come over across and kind of cut him off, whatever, and then you'd have open space then up where you're dangerous instead of tracking him back and being where you're not supposed to be. Like, and so in fairness to Wexford, like, that was probably the best year they had under Davy, and they did pose us a lot of questions, but to come out with the win then, like, I wouldn't say it was our hardest game of the year, but it probably was the most satisfactory one because of being a man down, I suppose. And just to get over the line, because we had 30, I think, what was it, Conor, 2 or 3 points in the end? 2, was it?
I don't know.
You do know.
I tried to delete that from my memory.
But it was just the fact that we got over the line. As I said, I wasn't too happy about being taken off, but then the relief then at the other side of it that we actually got the job done, and then we went on then and won the final by, I don't know, 16 points or something. So it was.
Conor, that year that you felt like you left it behind yourselves, especially after the provincial performance and maybe your own personal level that year?
Yeah, well, sure. You'd obviously, it's the one time we felt like we were in the driving seat probably. Yeah, I genuinely actually tried to delete that game from my memory. I tried not to even think about it or try to remember what went on. I thought I actually played fairly okay in that game, but
What, you had 2-1? I think did you get a couple of goals? Yeah.
Again, it was all handed out to him.
Yeah. By Sean Murphy, you were supposed to be marking. But no, look at your, when you're on a high, then there was such a buzz around Wexford at the time. For a good while, I think a lot of players probably felt like it was a bit of a downer then, for an unbelievable year that we had. We hadn't won anything since 2004, so to try to get to that final, we had beaten Kilkenny in a Leinster final, and we knew already that they were in the final. I felt like whoever was going to win our game, in my head, going into that Sunday game would have won the final, and that's probably, it's probably just a confidence thing as well. But no, look, sure, in fairness, Tipperary came back and probably the good move is to take Bubbles off and get the boys on to get a few scores to finish out the game.
See, we knew in that, because like, so Wexford play with a sweeper, and like we knew that. But when we had a man sent off, Wexford played with 2 sweepers. So we actually found that it didn't really affect the game that much, and it was only in the last maybe 5 minutes that Wexford went from 2 sweepers to 0 sweepers. Maybe that's why we picked up a couple of scores later on.
Yeah.
But if they would have
You
changed,
seemed to be on the breaking ball, or you were running a lot more than
Like,
I remember that happening.
we brought on a couple of lads, like Willie Connors came on and scored 2 from midfield. Jared Brown came on and scored 1 from midfield. Mark Keogh came on and scored 1. Jay came on and scored 1. Like, we brought on lads, but like, we knew that Wexford would stay to type, like, and their type was a sweeper. But then when we had a man sent off, we knew where to target, even though they still probably had 2 sweepers, and they probably left it a bit late to push up. If they pushed up, and even the minute John McGrath got sent off, if they would have pushed up their extra man and still had a sweeper, they probably would have won the game.
Conor, what's that like being on the other side? Like, can you see that happening? Like, do you know the way they'd be feeling that there's a gap here, but would you as a team also be like, we need to sort this out, and sometimes there's nothing happening?
Well, I think at that time, like, we were so well drilled that we felt like we trust our game plan. We're Leinster champions. We were ahead. I think we got to 9 points ahead at that stage. At one stage in that game, I think Lee got a goal. I just scored, and then Lee had got a goal, and we got another point. Do you know what I mean? So it's all going swimmingly then until the tide starts to turn a little bit, and that was well after the red card as well. So sure, these games take a life of their own. The game the day before took a life of its own, and you're trying to conserve energy. And we were looking at that Kilkenny Limerick game, and that was crazy as well. That was the sideline, I think, wasn't it? Dara Donovan put a ball over the bar or something, and they waved it wide or something.
Yeah,
it was the same thing. So look, that's what happens. I think the 2018 semi-finals were the same. 2019 were 2 good semi-finals. So they're all just kind of row into one. They all row into one. I remember not going to that All Ireland final. No, I tell you that.
We benefited from it anyway.
Bubbles, Conor spoke about getting back to Gorey, the journey back down, the celebrations afterwards. What's it like making that journey then from when you lift the trophy in Croke Park and then getting back down to Tip? Is it as mental as what you can imagine, or?
Yeah, it is. Like, after you win, the best part of the whole celebrations, I'd say, is that half an hour that you have in the dressing room after the game. So, like, you lift the trophy, you walk around the pitch, you meet everyone, you meet your parents, your family, anyone in the stadium outside. But then, like, you go down to the hill, and the hill is half full or whatever from tip supports. But when you get into the dressing room then, and you're waiting, like in 16 we're waiting for Brendan to come in, and 19 we're waiting for Shamey to come in. You're just waiting there for the cup to come in, and it's the 36 players, it's the 15-20 management team that's there, and that's the best part of the whole thing. Because the very minute that's done, you're being told where to go so the very minute that's done, so you shower, there's a little restaurant or a little bar thing across from the dressing rooms in Croke Park. You go in there, you meet the Kilkenny lads, you have a few drinks, then you're to the banquet, you're told where to go, you're told what to do. Monday, you're told where to go, right, we're coming home for a homecoming and all this sort of stuff. So the best part of the whole actual thing is being in the dressing room after, in the complete aftermath of the game. Like, I remember in 19, John Sheedy just took the cup and he took off in a song. It's a song that his mother used to sing, and it was absolutely unbelievable. Like from 16 and 19, it was the best memory that I had of the whole thing. Now, it's great meeting your family and all that, but the people that you've went through all the hardship with in November, December and January, and then just we sitting down just having a chat, and then Brian Cody comes in then to have a chat with you, like, and the respect then that's shown to Brian Cody. Like, the cup is put away, everyone is standing up listening to him, thanking him for his few words, and he leaves then, and then it's kind of back to celebrating. Like, but everything is done. You're told what to do for every minute, except for that half an hour that you have after the whistle inside the dressing room.
I didn't actually know that even happened at the top level of manager coming in to change room after for a quick chat. Is that a thing, or is that just the classic Cody?
I don't know. I never asked, or I never went about asking, did any tip managers do that after we lost to Kilkenny in 2014 or the draw or whatever. Like, I never asked, and I never asked even if you won, did you go down? But I remember in 16 and 19, Brian Cole, I don't think he came in 2014, but in 2016, 2019 he came in and just had literally a minute and a half, that's it, and he's gone again. But whether any other manager does that, I don't know. But it was just something that I remember from it, and just the way he spoke like that. Like coming from Kilkenny and Tipperary, and the rivalry that Brian Cody had with Tipperary for so long, like to be able to do that, I suppose. But I don't know if anyone else did it. I don't know if he done it against Wexford or anything like that. But
Yeah, Conor, would you have ever got stuff like that?
No, it'd be rare enough. I don't think he ever came into our dressing room anyway.
not too often he lost against you.
We're all right. Our record wasn't too bad. No, wasn't too bad. But no, they're generally club games. Maybe there might have been someone, lads come in and after games and stuff like that. But generally, it's kind of I can't really remember actually if there's any manager who's really done it. To be honest,
You must feel like the man get back to town though. When you get back to your hometown, have you bought a drink since though?
Oh yeah, no. For me, when you go back to when I go back to Kilnall, I suppose it's just normal. Like I think on the Tuesday you go back to the captain's club for homecoming. I remember on both times winning that I left and went home to my home pub for about 12:30. And you go in and you try and get a drink in there. Other than that, then it's just normal. Because you're seen around there every day, and it's just normal that I pass 100 people a day in Kilnall, and I'm down the hurling field and I meet all these young lads. Young lads are different, obviously. It's different for them, but any parents or anything like that, it's just the same. It wouldn't have been any different. A couple of people would have bought you a couple of drinks here and there, but it wouldn't have changed the whole pile, because I would have been in Kilnall, I suppose, all my life, and people just used to chatting to you and meeting you walking the street or down the hurling pitch.
Conor, that county win, that must have gone on days and weeks. Is it still going on?
No, it's not. Now there's expectation. So now it's when are we getting to the next one, or and they're so hard won. Particularly in Wexford, it's fairly competitive. I think the last 6 years, is it 6 or 7 years, there's been 7 different champions. So it's competitive enough. Owlert are probably the last team to go on a bit of a run. But I always find, whether it was with Wexford in 19 or the 2 clubs that we won, it's the day after, or when you're meeting, the Monday or Tuesday, when everyone's kind of gone back to work, or there's players still around or whatever. They have they're on a different time zone. That's kind of actually, as Bubbles said, you have your dressing room, but that's the only time you can kind of reconnect again, is that few days there, and talk about the antics that went on maybe from the last few days. Or did you see the old lad you were talking to, that this, that and the other. But yeah, they're obviously special days, but there's chaos there for the guts of 24 hours, 36 hours straight generally. And then it's kind of just, if you're able to get a beer garden or something somewhere and just relax and chill out. Or I remember in Leinster, when we won Leinster, you're obviously going back training, within a couple of days or whatever, and that was just nice to just reset as well, or be able to have that chat with lads as well.
Yeah, I remember in 16 on the Tuesday in Borrislee, because on Monday we done the homecoming in Borrislee and Thurles, so on Tuesday we were left her kind of our own devices, and we went out the back of a pub in Borrislee, and it was 100% of the team with a couple of people maybe thrown in, and that was probably the best crack that I had over the 2 All-Irelands was the Tuesday in Borrislee. But a lot of people would be going until the following Sunday or Monday, depending on how good their employer is to give them how many days. A lot of people could get 5 days, and they could go on it for a good while. And then, see, I remember after both years, I had a senior football championship game in 16 on the Wednesday after, and in 2019 on the Friday after. So you kind of have to
tight turnaround, isn't it?
Yeah, you kind of have to curtail. Now I remember on the Wednesday, all right, I wouldn't have been too sober going down to that match. Ended up playing in goal. Ended up coming out the field. Now we lost, but in 2019 then I started full forward. I'd 1-4 scored in the first 15 minutes then, and then after that then I didn't touch ball. So
got it over with.
And we lost to Upper Church then that day as well. But so sometimes you mightn't, because we're we're dual, we're hurling and football. We'd have a football game fairly quick after you're finished. So, but the lads that wouldn't have any football could be going from Sunday to Sunday and back to work on the Monday.
Well, Bubbles, Conor, episode 2, it's great. We'll have to get this ad back up now for the next one.
We'll swap over. I'll do it remotely the next time.
Yeah.
One in, one out there.
You won't get the weather like this now without a tip, I tell you that.
No, we won't. It'll be raining.